How's Amy doing today?
Doing okay. So we took another cancellation from a customer. Wait. In the thread, as I went back and reviewed everything, they've all been Google Ads customers. And Google and their stupid algorithms with the AI search has just trashed people's results. So I'm not at all surprised. So we're going to pivot away from those for a while. But anyways, outside of them spending money and he HVAC customer, he's running trucks, a fleet of vehicles, gas prices are high. Not only that, we haven't had a day in the 90s yet here, which is unusual. So no one's turning their AC on. We're going to be a high of 69, a high of 71 at the end of the week again. So when would typically be their peak season, they're just behind, and he's not big enough to sustain it like my other HVAC customers. He's a smaller operation. So that's how Tuesday is starting, Mark and Nora. And I'm okay. We did massive work on the franchise. I mean, massive work for that. And so it's just, and I have two referrals that come in for social marketing, which is our sweet spot. So
Nice,
it's good.
nice, nice,
That's a
nice.
recap. Um,
Gotcha.
and I'm looking, I have my love, so I will get you the 11 traumas for the other thing too. That's going to be a little bit of a process to get that back over to you.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Anything else that you want to accomplish specifically?
Well, before we land, I want to make sure I get Nora connected with Bella for our onboarding. And then I wanted to ask questions on the stuff that you sent me, like where is it being promoted out to right now? So let's jump into this before we pivot back to you guys.
Okay. So jump into your action vision plan or
Yeah,
jump in.
whatever you want to
Okay.
cover here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're doing 46% of your plan on average. You're getting 40% of your results. So you're negative 6% variance. So the goal is to be within negative 10% variance within 6 months because that's going to give you the positive. So your numbers are looking right where they should be. Again, we talked about the delayed action result principle, so we don't need to go over that again. Um, so here you've got on 1, 2, and 1, 3, you've got two big checks in a row.
Mhm.
That's good. And so over here, just on your manual one, this little box over here on your laminated one, right next
Mhm.
to the 1-2 through 1-24, you can put somebody's name in there.
Okay.
So you can assign that to somebody. So that's their baby. And then you explain to them, hey, you've got these three that you're responsible for. Then you explain the big check, little check, and X. And big check is not completed forever. It just means what do you want to, so it's helping everybody on the team to be intentional about what they're doing.
Yes.
And then ideally learn teaching them to manage up and out, to communicate up and out um, on that with you. And so if they communicate, you may say, that's beautiful, that's perfect, and yep, thumbs up. You may say, I don't know that that's going to work, but I'm going to let them learn. I learned. Maybe I'm wrong. It's not, if I'm not, it'll be fine. They'll figure it out. Or you say, yeah, no, that we need to do something different with. Um, and so, Life GPS, what that's through Life Masteries Institute. And so, these are some of Nora's numbers here. So these are pressure points going through. This is going in and tracking different results for her and others. This is in a prototype mode and sales in Top Gun. Um, in here, one of the things that we're doing is different companies. So here's the vision, and then here's goal setting. Here's how to steps to achieve goals, and here's how to be a good team member. And so what happens here is it tracks, so here we recommend if you post something, if you have your own channel, you post it, then it'll track um, who's watched it. It'll track how long it took them to watch it. And then they do a reflection. They can see one another's reflections. And so, so we could go ahead and look at, Jason's reflection here. And so it helps people to internalize. So I don't know about you, but in my experience, often, like when I read a book, the things I get out of it are very different than when somebody else reads a book. So I want people to read books, but even if they do read the book, they're not going to see the same things I do, and they're not going to see the significance. So here, this is designed to where, and so I don't know if we want to give you access to some of these so you can actually see them and experience them and say, oh, I want that for our company. So, if you kind of see what other people are doing, that might help you. As a small business, it's hard to do this kind of stuff. Like I was trained in college, you want vision, mission, purpose, you want governing. I did all that. Didn't
Yeah.
seem to work so much, didn't seem to impact the bottom line. And so, but I think it's because people weren't internalizing it. It wasn't clicking for them. And so, that connects into some of these up here. Do you have any questions on any of your specific actions or anything you want to go over?
No, I think it's so we've been doing a good job at delegating and moving stuff around from this sheet. And obviously, our BOS system, we're using that right now to pull in for the franchisees. So I think that's going well. I did sign up for Top Gun, but I don't know how to get started with you guys on the Top Gun because I need to get started with that so then I can sign Aaron and Bella up for that because they are waiting on me for that too.
So in Top Gun, I think there's going to be a number of different paths. And so there's going to be people like Nora. She's not full time sales, but she is, but she does a lot of different things. So she takes on other roles too.
Yeah.
But her primary purpose is sales. That's what her primary focus is. I don't know. Do any of your team members look at their primary focus being sales?
I mean, so Bella and I are our lead business development people, and Aaron, essentially the three of us have a sales role, and we're putting Aaron back into a BNI group just because we're behind our goals this year. Like, and our sales aren't like typical sales. We don't do any cold calls. All of our stuff is through our networking groups to get referrals. Like today, I had two referrals. So those two people come into our system as soon as we get discovery meetings done and we load them in our CRM. And then we follow through on our process with them to either a no or a close to a yes.
So in here, like what I kind of envision is like a lot of times when you're teaching something, you can connect the dots between what you're teaching and how it applies to people.
Yeah.
But it seems like in today's society, people are not able to connect the dots. If you don't give them a perfect block to fit in their perfect world, they're going to be like, I don't get the benefit of this. And you're like, how can you not get the benefit of this? So again, I don't know your team. I'm
Yeah.
just saying
So,
you will be able to connect. You seem to be able to connect. Oh, I
yeah.
see how this works. But
Yeah.
most people can't. So I don't know if we want to go ahead and use the Tuesday or the Thursday, if we want to use that as Top Gun, um,
Okay.
and then have us do a recorded session on Top Gun, and then you run it by your team and have them go ahead and listen to that at that beginning level. Technically, you're not getting one-on-one, you're not getting customized,
No.
but because you guys are the first ones going into that one,
Yeah.
you guys are getting, so that first level is going to be very much specifically to you guys. And my hope is that there's a lot of other companies out there that are going to be similar, and they go in and they're like, oh my gracious, this is perfect. I'm not really in sales. I do a lot of other things, but I can see how this is beneficial.
Well, and if you look at business owners like me and almost all of my business owner friends, I mean, I have a team of five of total, but most the business owner, I should say most, I would say 60% of the businesses we work with, Mark, the business owner is also responsible for generating sales. And I think
Oh yeah.
that's where this synergy comes through. And I'd be happy to convert that Thursday time into the Top Gun stuff. Absolutely. Because the other thing I'm thinking about future wise is requiring our franchisees to go through that. Even though I'm trying to hire salespeople first, media salespeople is our ideal target for that. You can always improve and get better at your sales. If we're talking about them, we're taking sales activities too. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Actively working.
I do. And so with you, you've got, most people have a hard time spinning one plate.
Yeah.
You've got like seven and you can go between them. You're like one of Tom Kuntz's top salespeople, and he was a realtor, but then he owned a franchise, and he owned a title company, and he owned a mortgage company.
Yeah.
But he's doing all of this. And so Tom said, how do you do it all? He says, oh, it's pretty simple. He says, which hat am I putting on? So he'd take off the sales hat and put on the owner's hat and put
Yeah.
on this hat. So you're adept at that. Most people are not. And so
Well, and Mark, for Erin, like Erin needs to be focused on selling uplift. We need to get members there. And she's the one that's following up and sending stuff out. So she can improve her close ratio on getting members or people that visit to sign up. So when she's in part of Top Gun, it's going to mostly be uplift focused. And then she also owns Right Penny Bookkeeping, and she's trying to grow that business. And I don't care if she uses that also to help grow her bookkeeping business, right?
right.
Because she's spinning hats. Where Bella's my only child, and Bella's or I shouldn't say, well, she is my child. She's my only employee that's 100% focused on just our marketing company. But she's going to be helping me sell the franchises and still do business development for our corporate branches because we got to keep our corporate branches open for a while.
So what I might do is I might go ahead and say, yeah. So I just do things, I just do things and then throw it against the wall, see what sticks.
Yeah.
And so, um, if you come, if you come to Thursdays and you have your stuff, and so, um, if you have your stuff and then you have what you want for each of them, and maybe you get them to ask a question. Like when I was teaching adult Sunday school class in the GRBC, there were certain things that I couldn't say. I'd get in a lot of trouble. Or if one of the class members would say something, I could get in a lot of trouble for them. So what I'd do is I'd reframe it. They'd say, "Is this what it's saying biblically?" I'm like, "Well, this is how I think it is," and that's how I kind of navigated that. And so if you want, like Tom says, there's the man with a briefcase from 100 yards away. If you want, you could ask me a question from each one of them. You could say, hey, you're going into Top Gun. What's the question you would have for Mark? And you could say, hey, Bella has this, and this one, Aaron has this. So you could go ahead and bring their questions, and I could then answer their questions as best I could, and address that. That way they feel
Okay.
attentive. And then if I'm not hitting the mark, and you want to, do you mean this, Mark? Yes, that's exactly what I meant. Like it,
Yeah.
or, so combining yours and mine on what we have. And then
Yeah.
Nora, I think, is really important because she's going to be newer to all of this. And so she might have fresh ideas or perspectives you and I don't have, or she'll say, I don't understand. And
Yeah.
so a lot of times a student's going to say, they're going to think, I don't understand, but they won't ask the question. Nora will. Like she'll just say, I don't understand. Okay, cool. And then we go through that. And so we can plan on that for Thursday and then kind of build it out from there.
Yeah. And so things to think about because like our 40-second commercials in our BNI groups, how can we tighten that up and make it better? And BNI always teaches specific is terrific. Like naming the actual business we want to get into. So Mark, in the last week, we all created a list of 50 plus businesses we want to get referred into. So like we still do lists. And ideally we'd be actively working 9 targets at any given time. And these are people going through our process to a yes or a no. Once they come off, then we have another one we pull into the target. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I'll give you some of that. I feel, and it's just a weird year. In all the 10 years I've been in business, like I think I told you guys before, I've never taken so many customer cancellations. I know a smidge of its economy because I hear people talking about gas prices and issues. I went through that 20 some years ago when we were at Fort Wayne at WME, and we took a, like, marketing is one of the first things cut when businesses get through a little bit of tough time, right? But how can we find those ideal customers where the economy isn't so much the impact,
Right.
right? Or the weather. Heaven forbid we have a cool summer and our HVAC guys are, and they're all struggling. Like even my big ones are like, this has been a tough year because, you know, February, March, April has been so mild. Like the heat hasn't really been on, and neither has the air conditioning. And like we are normally in the 90s and had some 90 anyways. So we need to come around that. So I'll work on
One thing
stuff
on
with their
that,
kids.
any of your customers or any of them that are leaving or whatever, you can go ahead and say on that Top Gun, you can say, Mark, we've got a customer. You don't name them because don't
Yeah,
want to be public, but you can just say, hey, we've got an HVAC or we've got this or whatever you want to do. And then you can have me coach. And I think I understand that. And I can go ahead and say, well, there's this past, present, and future. And then you need to, so I think I can almost act as as a coach to your people and tell them, because they're thinking, well, they might be thinking, well, Amy's just trying to sell us. Well, you know, you got to get out in front of this stuff. And so I think I can give that to them. And if it hits home, then you can take that podcast and say, hey, I'm part of this group. I actually ask a question. I think it'd be helpful. So if we can get them in because Top Gun is so inexpensive,
yeah,
and so that goes in when they move from servicing and they cancel, they go into client for life.
yeah,
And so obviously you're not making money anymore on them. So, but if you could get them into even the $25, the Top Gun, they're putting a little into it and then they're getting some value and then they're getting educated. And then we're going to swing them back around to where we take them out of here and we flip them back into here. And so gun can be used for something like that. And you can give them some of those to give them an idea. And they're like, oh, that's really good stuff. I need to have that. So,
yeah, yeah. And then someone else asked me, where else are the podcasts? Are your podcasts on Spotify or anywhere else on any of the podcast channels?
no,
Okay,
the short answer is no.
okay.
Um, I've talked to Adam a number of times about that. And so they just haven't done it. And so if you say they need to be for you guys to do what you need to do, if you guys have a specific portal or whatever, if you say, hey, Mark, you need to get them. So if you tell me to do something, now I have to do it. And then that gives me leverage to get them to do what I've been kind of nudging them to do for about 6 months and they haven't done.
Yep. Okay, I will get you a list of sites because I am on other podcasts on a regular basis. And I'll find out, I'll give you some options and tell you which ones we should focus on. And I bring that up too because I think our conversation about the addiction and alcoholism, I think that's something that has to be out there more public where people can find it on their
Okay.
own. I do. And then the coaching stuff, I don't know if there's a way to have a private link. I mean, I know you guys have this one. Because they
So
can go through here. Yeah.
we can do anything you want, I think. I mean, I'm
Okay.
pretty sure we can do anything out. And so you can give us options. I kind of like to just be told what to do.
All right. All right.
If you tell me, Mark, do
Okay.
this, you will find me, I think, to be a really good student. Like you tell me, like my goal is to be your best client. Like to go ahead, man, this guy just, and I can tell people, I just do it. Amy tells me to do, when she tells me to do it, how she tells me to do it with a great attitude. That's
Yeah.
so, so you know your stuff. I don't know your stuff. And so you tell me what to do. You can tell me which of these topics which of these topics you think should be out there, or you can tell me which topics you think are going to pull. So for me, it's very rewarding to save people's lives or get them off addiction, prevent them from being on
Yeah.
addiction, heal people. You're in a season, Nora's in a season, everybody other than my wife is in a season where you got to make money. You got to make
Yeah.
money. And I
Yeah.
get that. And so even with all of those things, I still have how do we create business opportunities out of doing good things in the community?
Absolutely. And then can I share my screen real quick with you?
Yep, absolutely.
Because I think one, if we get a public podcast channel that's out on Spotify or whatever platform, so I'm coming back to Zoom. I had to pull up your screen first. Like your flyer that you sent me, this you guys looks amazing. And I think too, as we're doing podcasts, like we can literally have a podcast on more time freedom and just give them a snippet, but then say like you have to sign up. The link is here. Da 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 da. Reach out to North this number. You got to get it. No pitch, no pressure. But we can talk about saving time because even Mark, with all the stuff I'm doing, I'm still usually not ever more than 40 hours a week. I
Okay.
and most times I'm at 35 hours a week, which is
Okay.
unusual for me doing the three businesses, right? So
Right.
you
Right.
and I can both talk from an area of authority
Right.
on this specific topic. But anything you guys have generated like this, my question to you is like, so where is this shared at? Like, how could someone where is this specific flyer posted at? Or how are you guys marketing it right now?
It's sent out to emails. And so we've
Okay.
got Life Masteries is sending out 200,000 emails a month, getting good, great opens, great clicks, but they're not registering. And
Yep.
then, but we're going up to, I think this month or next month, we're going from 200,000 emails to 550,000.
Yeah. But those are they cold emails like people that haven't subscribed or are they subscribers?
They're not cold, but I
Okay.
don't know if I'd call them subscribers either, but they're not,
Okay.
but it's not unusual for us to get 20 to 60% click through. So we don't, so they've been worked like they're
Yeah.
engaged with us to some level.
Yeah. So, all right. And then, so like something like this specifically, we would literally do this. So outside of the Top Gun, this is the stuff we would promote through your all social media channels with a link to sign up or, to reserve the spot or to DM Nora or whatever that'll be. We just have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Because this is really good. Like your marketing material, this is visually appealing. It stands out. It makes sense. We just need to get them to raise their hand and say yes and do that next step. And then once
Nora,
they're in, then you have some working relationship
right,
with them. And then you can ask them, who else you know would benefit from a session like this? And that's how we get the referrals going.
right.
Why don't
Nora,
you finish that?
you did all this design, right, Nora?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really good.
Nice.
So, but that my thing is, I feel like because the emails, and mind you, we do email marketing all the time. Email is one of those things that, yeah, open rates are good, but if no one's actually raising their hand and move through it, we've got to be in other areas too where we're asking them to
Oh,
take action now. So,
sure. Yeah.
all right.
Sure. And when we had Sod working my LinkedIn with the Sales Navigator, I think it is. When
Yeah.
we were doing that, he was producing so many appointments and we had good 30-minute strategy sessions. And we sold a lot of business x-rays, but not much action vision stuff. And so
Yeah.
most of those were solo people that were out there trying to go ahead and get business. They weren't real business owners, I would say. And so,
Yeah.
how do you get to the business owner? That's the thing that's the thing. What we did in the old days before any of this is we sent out postcards, and
Yeah.
we'd send out 20,000 postcards, a month. And man, we generated so much business from that. And so, Life Masteries Institute has a very, very nice color copier, and they're the ones that produce all of the booklets and all the other types of things. And so, I think because everybody's doing internet, I think that old school stuff, the direct mail and some of the other stuff could be, really revived, but that takes another, whole different way. So whatever you think we ought to do, we're open to any of it.
Okay. So we're gonna get actual podcast channels out in the marketplace. I'll get a list of those.
Okay.
Honestly, we still do direct mail, believe it or not, and I still recommend it.
Yeah, right,
And there's some interesting, and even outside of the postcards, because even the postcards, just like you have a QR code here, you can have a QR code there,
right.
and you can target those bigger industries. Your LinkedIn, I mean, Christy, a friend of mine just interviewed one of the higher ups at I think the CFO or CEO of Constant Contact. He come on her little podcast, Small Business Small Talk.
Oh, wow.
I know. And she's a one person show. Uh,
Okay,
but her show has traction and she has sponsors too of her podcast. Like there's people that sponsor her show. And that's another revenue stream for you guys as well, possibly, right?
right,
Um, and so we just like, but like your guide, we just need to get in front of those larger customers. LinkedIn it has a play for that. For Nora, those LinkedIn customers might be okay, but it's going to be harder to get the Action Vision customers. You got to
right,
go over those like Fortune 500, like bigger companies that have way more funds and money.
right. So, I'm battling with Notebook LM right now. And so we have the event this weekend. Um, and so there's stuff that I'm doing there that's it's interesting to me because I'm like, huh. And so what is it? 11 by 17 that they can print for color and then it can laminate the stuff. So this is so we've built something, in decision making. So building some of these different things, and then we'll put and so it's really cool. The challenge is that we're having struggles on what to do. But Nora, if we sent out this in 11 by 17, if we sent this out through the post office, this would be noticed.
Yeah.
And and then if we had something that was innovative, kind of cool, something for kids but adults, and something like, how do you get them hooked to where they're like, hey, this company's different. Nora's been doing a lot. I think I mentioned where she's doing a lot of booklets and she's sending those out and doing follow up on those, and those are doing some of that. So cool. Anything else,
Yeah.
Amy, you got?
No, I think that's good. But for you guys, like for something like this, I would even look at influencers, which are kind of hit and miss. PR people have contacts with influencers, but also like your therapist, look for, new innovative ways to interact with children. And that could be your play here too.
Yeah, it's so we have 11 stations on our property, and there's, a little 8.5 by 11. You can scan it, and when you scan it, you go into Riverside Retreats. Um, you go into Riverside Retreats, and so this is the first one, and then there's a video, and then you go to station 2, and then you go to station 3. So it's,
Okay.
where you have, here's your vision, here's the plan, here's your passions. And so it's all connected back into personalities too.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty innovative in what it is and how it's all put together. And so I think that a lot of companies are looking like, how do you get your employees engaged? How do you get them on board? How do you get them to buy into the vision? How do you help them connect their own vision into the company's vision? How do you blend all that together into flow?
Yeah.
So Nora, anything you got?
Well, I'd say,
Question?
Mark, real quick, do you guys have like a target list of businesses you're trying to penetrate? Because you
Um,
should.
I mean, we've done a lot in accounting, like CPA
Okay.
accounting firms. We've done a fair amount in mortgage and real estate, the service industries. We've done
Okay.
some in construction, conservatories. Um, and so um, there's some little bit in manufacturing, but the
Okay.
service industries, those have been the sweet spot. But we've gotten business in all different types of businesses because the 530 grid, 530 grid is universal in everything.
Yeah. Okay. I would literally just what I do with my team. I would look at businesses, target them specifically. And then when we get the social stuff up and running, we invite them to follow so that they're still seeing stuff from us, but in a softer way as well. And that's
Gotcha.
where your postcards can come in. And it's not like you have to do 20,000 postcards. Let's be very specific. And then if we're driving people back to the website at some point, we need to do that. So, Nora, just real quick, you're going to be copied on an email with me to Bella to do an orientation because we want to get your social media stuff set up to our software so we can start drafting content.
Okay.
And then we'll look for that email today. And I do think we
Okay.
can keep with the 530 grid as well. I think this needs to be some of our content as well.
Nice.
Still Top Gun with a couple other things focused in to help drive business for Nora and Mark, whoever else we need to drive business for.
Beautiful.
All right.
Excellent. Anything
All right.
else, ladies, you have, either of you?
I do not.
I don't think so. No.
All right. Thanks, Amy. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Thanks,
We'll see
Amy.
you. Bye-bye. So, now we're on the receiving end, right, of coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And so the execution of stuff, how do we get stuff executed? How do we make sure we are following what she's saying? And then when it doesn't work, how do we let her know and say, hey, this didn't work? Well, did you execute? Are we doing the right action in the right way over the right period of time? So excellent, excellent. Anything else, ma'am, you got?
Um, how attached are you to the booklets that I'm sending out, the cover?
Not.
Okay.
Yep.
Because
I
I've
mean,
been
I don't
looking
even
at
know.
it and I'm like, maybe I need to do something that's a little
Right.
bit more appealing or
Yeah.
eye-catching or
Yeah. I don't know which one you're talking about. I don't really need to know. You're like the cover queen. And so if you want to try other stuff, go for it.
okay.
Anything else you got?
I don't think so. I guess what do I need to do to execute what she was saying today?
It's like they're going to do all the work on, so is it Bella or whoever it was? So
Yeah.
it's getting to her, and then I don't know, talking to her, and they're going to write copy and promote us, get us out into the social media world. So there should be nothing that we need to do there, just other than you talk to them and then they go to work and they write everything.
Okay.
And so that one should be real easy. Just talk to her and get that going on. The Thursday, I'll probably remember to do something there, so that'll be good. Um, so that's for the Top Gun. And then the other stuff, like direct mail, um, like Anita, like I ask her, like, do we go ahead and send out something about like Compass when they sent out the oversized stuff? I don't know if they sent out 11 by 17 or something bigger print, bigger thing. They sent it out. So I don't know if you want to talk to Katie or Jason about that and what they did. But I think anything oversized, anything, color, like the time stuff, um, to try to get them to drive them to something on the website through the QR code and going after the English business. So,
Okay.
Stephanie, uh, you know, so that one, so I'm pretty sure she's not Amish, no connection into the Amish. So she might be, if she joins Compass, she might be going after bigger companies. And so you might be able to help her and she might be able to help you. So there might be some tag team that you guys could do, on stuff. So
Yeah.
anything else, ma'am?
Um, oh, the other thing was the Riverside Retreat. I went on there to kind of, I don't know, just like see. So maybe it's just me, but it's just a lot.
Oh, it's not just you. It's mess.
Like,
My perspective, it's a mess.
yeah.
Not thought out. It's just kind of whipped together. So I don't like it. Um, and so with the new AI capabilities and ClickFunnels, um, do we go ahead and try to do something substantial with it now before, Saturday, maybe? Or do we just go ahead and bite the bullet and say we're gonna do what we can do, and then next time, go out like do the Summerfest one and get it done. Do you need to go through this? Can Adam do it? Can David do it? Can they use new AI features to do it? I don't know, but I agree. It needs a lot of work.
Because, yeah, because it's like, so it's got, Rosanna's Garden 1 and then like Little Bear Deck 2. It's like nobody's gonna understand what's.
No, I get it.
So I don't know if we could do like an introduction to where, we have different decks based on personalities instead of having it like, I don't know. It just looks like it's like you scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. And then I was on the pictures last night going through the picture, like the photo albums and stuff. And there's so many pictures of like pretty much the same thing on there. And it's like huh?
The camera.
So I don't know.
So the trailer.
Okay, go out there. Go out there. Um, it's like it's somebody just uploaded the SD card without going through and picking out the best photo. So it's like the pretty much the exact same photo, but there's 10 of them, if that makes sense.
Right.
I don't know. It's interesting. So,
Yep. 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 There's a how do you prioritize, what gets done? And that's something I'm still working on. So
yeah.
hopefully Adam will be able to get the new ClickFunnels, and I don't know how involved I'm going to be in that. I'd like to be involved as little as possible. I don't know how much of the knowledge I currently have on ClickFunnels is going to go over to the new one. And so I don't know if that's something that he and David can do without you and I, or if you and I are going to get into it, or if David or if Adam uses something outside of ClickFunnels to give it a more animated website. I don't know. Everything's moving so fast. There's so much, things are advancing so quickly, moving so quickly that it's like you don't even get a chance for a breath of fresh air because everything's changing so quickly. So, anything else, ma'am, you got?
I don't think so.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.